Hello, this is Winston Cunningham. It is February 23rd in 2026. And what is on my mind today is boredom. I get bored easily. And earlier in my life when I was working and doing jobs and so forth, the routine stuff became dull to me. So it's kind of tricky to get myself interested in whatever I'm interested in, but the thing that I don't have to work at getting interested in is listening and talking with people. I like that. And I've come to like it because there's something that I might be able to offer at that time. And I like doing that. But boredom is for me being still is not boredom to me. Or being still within, that's when I get the most out of something. If something is mundane, so routine that it almost puts you to sleep, but mundane mostly, if there's no real something to what I'm watching or doing or something, I get bored. So my life has become doing that which interests me. I'm interested in doing these talks. I always look forward to it. And it gives me a way to communicate in a different way with people. Because I go to the YMCA every day, and when I'm talking with somebody, if there's usually only a few minutes to talk to each person. And so you can't cover if you're talking, you can't cover anything really in depth in just a few minutes. So if somebody seems interested in a particular thing and I've talked about it, then I can suggest that they listen to my talk on that. Whether they do or not, I don't know. But it gives me a way to give to somebody. And I do this a lot. I send it in text when people are texting me and they have questions. And sometimes if people are just talking online, and I think a response from me might be listened to, I'll send it to them as another opinion. Now I don't get involved in the group text and so forth, and where you quibble and quabble over things. I don't care for that, because it don't take much quibbling and quabbling to do me. If somebody's got something to say and can get right to the point, not beat around the bush, then I can usually hold my interest on that. But anything that's just routine, mundane, I get bored pretty easily. So a lot of me staying interested in life is me letting go of what bores me. And I do things that are, in fact, writing, I like to write too, but I have to be in the mood to really write, and it can become boring if I'm just looking at it as a tedious something that needs to be done. Then I can get bored with that too. So I have to really put myself into a particular frame of mind to be able to seriously do some writing. Many times I'll usually take a notebook with me. I've got it in my bag at the YMCA, and if I'm sitting having a cup of tea, if there's nobody talking to me at the moment, I might pull it out and make some notes. But then many times I'll start to write, and then I'll think, no, not in the mood for that. So it would be boring if I made myself do it. And yeah, there's a lot of things that have to be done. When I need to wash the dishes, not necessarily excited about that. But I see the advantage in it because it's nice to have everything clean. So if I'm looking at the advantage, the purpose behind it, then it helps me do it, get through it. And if things, I'm not the best organized person in the world. As you can see, if you walk into my house, you'll say, "Oh, what a mess!" But it's my mess, and when the pile of mail stacks up enough to bother me, then I'll do something about it. And I don't like going through mail. That's boring to me, especially things that are just mundane. Companies like the insurance companies send me things that I don't really need. They're just wasting paper, and they don't know that, but it's a waste to me. So if it's just routine, mundane, I'll look at what I need to, but I don't spend much time reading all the details. I like details, and I need details, and right now I'm gathering a lot of details, usually for the most part when I'm laying down in the bed, if I'm not sleeping, or in late night. I'll find myself up at 3 or 4 o'clock for a while in the morning, and I'm actually using the time putting something together, because when I go to sleep, I'm usually asking for some more insight, and I'll get it. Just this morning I had a dream that involved the former president, and which is part of my superconscious mind, the dream. So it told me something about myself that I was not familiar with yet. It was pointing out something, and I won't go into detail, but this is one of the ways that I use the time that I wake up. And it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. There's not a lot of things stirring. You don't hear there's much traffic outside, and people opening and shutting doors, and it's just quiet because most people are asleep. So I like to use that time. What does this have to do with boredom? Well, that time of the night is interesting to me. I don't get bored at that time because I'm plugging into myself in a new way. And my dream this morning told me that I was actually getting some new information from deeper within, which is what I've been wanting. And I can see that coming. And I'm experiencing some things in my life that are very pleasant to me at this time. And I'd like to say they were surprises, but in a way that was, and in another way, it's just confirmation that I'm doing some things productively. Boredom is actually useful to me. So rather than be bored, now I live in a travel trailer, and as you can see, and when the walls start closing in, I'll get up and go somewhere. And many times now I like to eat out, and I do that more than I need to financially, but many times when I'm wanting to eat out, it's not so much that I'm hungry. I got food here, and I may not be in the mood to have what's here, but it's not, when I go out usually to eat, it's not so much about that, is that there's, in every case, not just some case, every case where I have this feeling that I just need to get out. Well, I won't know where I need to go, or won't know where I want to go. And so sometimes I'll just get in the car and start driving, and it'll start coming to me. Well, go to this part of the town, that part of town. And I'll wind up at a restaurant, and I don't know at the beginning which one I'm going to. Sometimes I do, but usually. But if I'm headed for one and I keep having thoughts of, well, this other one may be better, there's a reason for that, because there's somebody there that needs to talk to me. I've got something to give to somebody who is at that location I'm going to. It happened just last night. I wound up going to a place that and I didn't plan to eat out, during the day, but when it come time for that seemed to be the thing to do. That was part of the song I wrote one time, and it just seemed like the thing to do at the time. So that's how I make the mistakes sometimes. But I was able to give somebody a connection to my talks that is in a pivotal place in his life. Now, he don't know that, but it was obvious to me. But he was open, I think, and I think if he actually listens to some of the talks, it will maybe be some information that he's been curious about or been wanting to connect with. And I do that for people. Now, whether they connect with it or not, that's not up to me. It's up to me to give what I have to give. And that's what I'm doing. Boredom motivates me to get up and do something, to go somewhere, to talk to someone, to experience. And there are days when this bed right behind me is the only place I want to go. Because at times when my body needs rest because it needs to heal itself, and any energy put to the contrary is interfering with that. So it doesn't bother me to take a whole day to stay right here in this bed. And I've done that on several occasions, a number of occasions. It's not something I do every day, but when there's a need, there's a reason for that need. And what does this have to do with boredom? Boredom is what I was thinking about. Is that And I spent many times raking myself over the coals because, and this was when I was thinking in terms of should and should not, and of course I got over that. Because if should or should not is somebody else's idea. And as I've talked before, life is more fun if it's working off your own idea. And that's what I'm doing, working off of my idea. Mine. Because I'm an individual, and I was given the same thing as everybody else got. We all got the same thing in the beginning. And what we do with it is individual choice. And that's what shapes our life into something grand or stupid. But it's my stupidity and my grandness. So it shouldn't bother anybody else. But a lot of things bother people. But whether something bothers someone else or not is not up to me. That's up to them. So I don't spend time convincing people that my way of thinking is correct and theirs is wrong. I do talk about what I understand because I think that can be helpful if a person is where they can use it. But if they don't want to hear it, then that's up to them. They can leave where I am. They can listen to a talk later, or they can not listen to it. That's their choice. But I need to be true to who I have become, which is who I am. I'm seeing more now of who I am than I ever have before. And that's what my experience is about. So I guess what I wanted to say is that motivation is, not motivation, boredom is actually motivating to me. How about that? I wasn't expecting to say that, but that's what it comes down to. Because boredom is like poking me and say, go do something, go be different, go do something, be something. Or it may be most beneficial to just sit and listen. I've learned to listen within, and that's where all the good stuff comes from. And I've talked about distractions and all sorts of things, but not here, just talking about boredom. And I'm getting bored with this talk. Thank you. I'm Winston Cunningham.